Hey guys, so this might be a little late, but I know a lot of people have been asking me about this the past week or two, asking me if I know about it or what I think about it or whatever. And this is the Stridebreaker or Galeforce VIQ kind of, polling interaction that some people have been excited about, and they want to know what my thoughts are on it. So, it's a little late because I haven't been doing as many videos recently, but I definitely, want to make a video about it anyways. Now, I think it still works. It's been a patch, but I don't think they touched it or anything. But I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, if you ask me my personal opinion on it, like I think it would be best if they just fixed it, because you'll see it's not really something that's very usable inside of an actual game. Now you can do this bug with Stridebreaker or Galeforce. They're both okay. I think between these two items, I would much rather have Stridebreaker because it's more appropriate. The stats are more appropriate for viability, haste, health, AD, attack speed. This is kind of got this crit chance and stuff. It's not as useful, but you can do it with either one. And the way you do the bug is you have to charge up IQ and then connect it. And as you're connecting it, you use your Stridebreaker or your Galeforce backwards. And you can do it with either one. I'm gonna put the same spot, but with Galeforce, and you'll be able to see that regardless of which of the two you buy, they move the exact same distance. It doesn't, like, they both do the exact same thing, So there's no difference in, it's not like one of them moves faster or moves further or anything like that. Galeforce, I guess, is a longer cooldown as well, I suppose. Now, the reason why I don't think this is that good and why I am not that interested in it and think it would be better if they just fixed it is because, like, it has to be a fully charged VIQ, and it has to be just at the maximum range for it to actually work. This can't be a VIQ, that's like, like, it can't be like this. That will never work. No matter how you try to do it, no matter how many times you try to do this, it will never work. It has to be a fully charged VIQ, and it has to be at max range. Like, and even then, it's you have to get the timing just right. It's a little bit, it's because, VIQ, if you charge it to full, it kind of turns into like I'll show you kind of what it looks like maybe on paint or something. What happens with VIQ is I've known about this forever. It's like, let's say it's like a rectangle that looks like this or something, and then that rectangle gets bigger and bigger as the VIQ expands, that you're going to go in this direction. And then when it gets to max range, it stops being this rectangle and starts also having like this square at the end. It turns into like two different abilities, And there's a lot of other abilities that do the same thing, where it's like, I don't know, like Thresh Q, Blitzcrank Q. Like, there's a lot of these weird abilities where people talk about this lollipop effect where it's kind of like it's a straight line, and then for some reason there's like a circle at the end of it or whatever. People call it like a lollipop, like, oh, I lollipop that Thresh Q. You might have heard that at some point. And basically, in order to do this bug, it has to be at the very tip where there's the little square at the end. That square has to be what connects into them. And on top of that, you also have to get the timing right. It's like, the timing isn't too difficult if you practice it a little bit. Like, I haven't messed with this for a little bit. But if you practice a little bit, you can get it to nearly 100%. But it's still, like, in an actual game, the only situations where I feel like I could get it off, and trust me, I tried like 4 or 5 games of this, because it seemed pretty cool, right? But the only situations where I could really find it working is if, like, there's, for example, a guy that's like walking like this or whatever, and he's just right clicking and like not looking at his game or something, and I'm just standing here, so I get to like fully charge VIQ, back up a little bit so I can make sure that the very tip of it lands, and then I pull him back or whatever. And that's like, you can try to force that scenario to happen, but it's not that common of a scenario. And honestly, like, you have to think really actively to be looking for that and trying to force it and play around it and everything, and to buy a Stridebreaker as well, which is an okay item, but I don't think it's that good of an item. Like, I think this is okay to have. You can work with it. You can do some plays with it. You can use it, get in range of your R or whatever. You can slow people in AoE. It's not useless, but it's not great. I don't think it's the best for Vi. Like, I'd much rather have, the Trinity or this Divine Sunder or or even, you know, the clips or whatever. I think those are more solid items, but this is okay. But it's just like, I think when you're playing League, you have a lot of different things going on in your head that you have to juggle and think about and weigh your options. And okay, I'm gonna look for this play. No, maybe not. Maybe there's this play, or hey, look, there's this guy coming, and you know, does he have flash? You know, there's all these things to think about. What's going on at top? What's going on at bot? You know, whatever. There's not much room in your head to just be sitting around being like, okay, let me just try to get the fully charged IQ. Then let me make sure that I'm not too close to them, and then let me time this perfectly. Like, it's a rare scenario, and you have to be actively looking for it to find it as well, and that takes your like brain power, I think, away from things that are more important. So I think it's a cool bug. You know, it's definitely fun. If for some reason, you know, it could work on any VIQ, then I think it could be good. I don't even know how it worked on that one. I've never had it work on a short one like that before. Okay, I just did it again. Weird. I mean, I guess it's still like the lollipop thing, but it's just really weird. Like, what I found in my experience is like, if you do these short ones, it basically will never actually be in the range for it to work. Like, that's so weird because I've never had that happen a single time before. But I guess it is technically possible. You still get the lollipop on the shorter range VIQs, but it's just like, it's really, Vi herself creates a hitbox, and her hitbox is like, I think what is actually happening is that the lollipop hitbox always appears on VIQ, but it like updates every like quarter second or whatever. So sometimes you'll be like inside of the target before the like lollipop hitbox is hitting them or whatever, but other times it will hit them beforehand. Like, see, like there I was literally all the way inside the target dummy, and it still didn't connect. So you can't really rely on that. Like that is a weird, you know, thing that happened there, honestly. But okay, I feel bad. I feel like I've like said something wrong, but it's just my experience basically. Like this like little square in front of the VIQ thing is basically only really reliable if it's like a max range one. Reliable to land you know, before you would either Stridebreaker and have nothing happen, or you would just hit into them with the bike, like the rectangle IQ. Damn. I almost want to redo the video, but like at the same time, like just to, you know, change my approach to talking about it, but like at the same time, like I feel like I went over everything, and this is kind of more like you know, genuine, I guess. But anyways, yeah, so it's an interesting bug. It's fun. You know, you could try it around in a normal game and stuff. You could force really, really hard. Instead of playing normal, instead of playing correct and whatever, you could just try to be looking for these plays, and you can make some funny clips and everything. But like, it'd be cooler if they just either made it consistent, maybe, but that'd be kind of weird since it doesn't really make sense. Or they could just, you know, fix it, because it's like, you know, I wouldn't want people to like get the wrong idea and think that they can do this, and it's like a legitimate idea, legitimate like way to play or approach playing Vi or whatever, because it just doesn't really work consistently, and the conditions that are needed to be met for it are too precise. So that's my opinion. Interesting bug. You know, it'd be fun. If it was more usable, for sure I'd like make a video, you know, playing with it and have some fun and make some cool plays and whatever, but it's just I haven't had that experience. In my experience, I tried it a bunch of times, and it's just, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys found this interesting. If you haven't heard about this, it's definitely cool. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it.